Yo, what is going on everybody? XpertGamer here, bringing you guys a video regarding Extreme Butoden and whether the game will be worth the wait until October. Now, if you guys are wondering how would I even go about answering this question because the game is only out in Japan, one of my friends, Mikey, I'll be leaving the link to his channel in the description below. He has a Japanese 3DS and he got the Extreme Butoden ROM, so he's been playing it. And he's been telling me stuff about the game, like how fighting works, the characters you can use, the story, all the stuff like that, so that's what I'm going to be basing this video off of. So the first thing that I can say is that Extreme Butoden took a lot of work to make, because for the people who did not know, a 2D game is much harder to make than a 3D game, because with the 2D game, you have to keep on making all the sprites, working with them, and then with a 3D game, you just have to take the models and just work them around to how you want them. You don't have to keep on redoing them. And I'm not saying that Extreme Butoden has more workload than, you know, say Xenoverse. I'm just saying that in general a 2D fighter takes a while to make. Now actually moving on to what the game has to offer for the person who would like to buy it. There is a story mode, obviously. Every single character has their own little story mode. And if I can remember correctly, there was one person on YouTube, or maybe a few, I don't know, that were LPing the story modes of Extreme Butoden. So if I can find those videos, there will be a link to the playlist of them in the description below so you guys can check them out for yourself. But yeah, there is definitely a story mode, so you don't have to worry about that. Because I know when I first heard about Extreme Butoden, my initial reaction was, is there going to be a story mode? How would they play that out? But now I know that there is a story mode, so there's no worrying about that. Now, here's where a lot of people's opinion on the game could completely shift. There is currently no online mode. Now, it might be implemented later in the US release, but to be honest, it's probably not going to be likely that there is going to be an online mode. And that honestly defeats the purpose. It's like you can play the game against computers, have a little bit of fun if you're bored, but I really like playing games with my friends, and that's what I like to do. And if a game doesn't have that, especially a fighting game where you can't even, you know, play around with your friends, other people online, what's really the point? And I'm not saying I'm not going to get it for that one purpose, because I am definitely going to pick up this game and I'm going to put videos of it on my channel, but this video is just for other people to understand, you know, what they're getting out of their money's worth. Because that's one of the main deal breakers that might make somebody say, you know what, I'm actually not going to mess with Extreme Butoden until it gets an online mode, and if it doesn't get an online mode, I'm just not even going to mess around with the game as a whole. But what people, and even me, have to understand about this game is that it's just a 3DS game. You can only do so much, but that doesn't mean that you can't have online. Like, come on. But that's really all I have to say about that. It's really disappointing that you can't play it with your friends right now, but what can you do? Moving on, from what I've heard from my friend Mikey who plays the game, it's not too combo heavy, and that's actually disappointing because I was like, oh, this game looks like a Mugen and it should have, you know, crazy combos and fast-paced gameplay, but unfortunately, for me at least, that's not what we're getting. It's more slow, user-friendly, and that's not always a bad thing. That could be good too, but that's just one of the things that I personally wanted in Extreme Butoden, and unfortunately we're not getting it. Second to last thing that I wanted to talk about is the roster. Now, the roster looks pretty boring, I'd have to say. I'm just gonna go ahead and read off all of the characters here. We have Android 18, Bardock, Beerus, Broly, Captain Ginyu, Cell, Frieza, Future Trunks, Goku in all of his Super Saiyan forms, Gotenks, Kid Buu, Krillin, Majin Buu, Nappa, Piccolo, Raditz, Gohan, Vegeta, and that is it. That is all the characters that you could play as. And there wasn't really any characters that I thought, whoa, that's actually unique, or whoa, that's cool. These are just, you know, the basic standalone Dragon Ball Z characters that pretty much everybody knows. And that's not a bad thing, but I want to play as, you know, the characters, like the support characters. If you guys didn't know, there are support characters in this game, and a lot of the support characters, I'm like, why can't these just be playable characters, you know? There are people like Bojack, Bobbity, they have Cell's forms, you know, imperfect, semi-perfect. Yeah, imperfect and semi-perfect. They have Deborah, Dodoria, and they have the androids. It's just crazy. Like, why couldn't these be playable characters? They're just background people that come into the fight to assist you. I was pretty disappointed when I heard the roster, but you know what can you do? You just gotta make do with what you get. Now, the last thing that I would like to talk about is the pricing of the game. For the people that did not know, Extreme Butoden for the US will be $30. Now, let's look at Xenoverse. When it first came out, it was $50, and it had all these features like a decently sized roster, a great story. It also had many parallel quests for you to do, all these items that you can get so the game would stay fresh. And in this game, there's no online mode. The roster's pretty basic, and not even mentioning that the game is 2D. So with all those points made about comparing these two games, you guys can be the judges of whether the game is worth $30 or not. I'm not gonna give my own thoughts on that because I'm getting the game regardless of the price. It could be $60 and I'm still picking it up and playing it. It doesn't matter to me, but it's you guys that this video is for. So tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Are you guys gonna bother getting this game? Does it still seem interesting to you? Personally, I think the game's gonna be okay, and I'm just gonna leave it at okay. Not a good game, not a great game, just okay. Maybe like a 7 out of 10, 6.5. But obviously that's just my opinion, and that is what the comment is open for. Leave your opinions on it below. Do you think it's gonna be good, bad, just horrible, great game? But leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new and would like to see more Dragon Ball content, but I'm gonna head out of you now. Peace out, everybody.